Hi, I'm Rob Grimm from RGG EDU and RGG Photo. If you have followed my career at all, you know that I'm a huge fan of Broncolor lighting. It has always been my go-to source for lighting because the packs, the equipment are so well made, they last a lifetime. I've got Broncolor Flashman packs that are 35, 40 years old and they won't quit. The other thing I like about it, the modifiers are absolutely incredible, so they really, to me, craft the best light I can possibly get on set. So what I want to do today is show you a new product that I think both emerging photographers and seasoned vets like myself are really going to like. This is the new Broncolor Siros kit. It's amazingly simple, really compact, but very, very powerful. So it comes out of the box just like this, which is two cases. And it's basically broken down into the main case, which I love those zippers. These are so nice. Both your monoblocks are right here inside. Very well crafted. Power cords and the RFS unit go at the end, but everything is nice and compact, so you can zip this up, throw it in your car, you can put it on an airplane, and you're going to know that this is pretty well secured and safe. And in the other container, we're going to open this bag, and so first thing we have is a 2-foot by 2-foot softbox, which is just a nice quality of light, very simple square box. Speed ring, it's also got its own case, so everything is kind of well protected. Things aren't going to get scratched in here. They also give you a little umbrella, which is just a nice silver umbrella. Again, it's in its own sleeve, so that's well protected. There's the famous Broncolor red cord. You can always tell they're sync cords because they're red. This is just in case you can't use the RFS for some reason. And then you got a couple of stands, and Broncolor has made their own stands for this. They're nice because they're air cushioned. Since these are monoblocks and there's a lot of electronic components in there, you don't want it to slam. Like if the stand releases for some reason, it won't just kind of slam down. It'll cushion down with the air, and none of those electronics will get damaged, which is really nice. So again, I want to stress that this is a great system, not only for emerging photographers, but for seasoned vets as well. So why don't we shift gears, go over to the set, and we'll light a bottle. All right, so we're in the studio and I'm working on one of my typical shots for a client, which is a bottle on a white background. It's really pretty simple in that I have a roll of white grid cloth and I've got 2 strips of black velveteen on either side. That black velveteen gives me dark edges. It kind of gives definition to the bottle, while the inside stays nice and white and it can easily be clipped out. So this is a set I use all the time in studio, but I'm going to be using it all with the Siros monoblocks. So let's walk through this. The first thing I have is my Parrot 88. This is one of my go-to lights. I use this thing all the time and I absolutely love it. What's nice about this, the same adapter that I use with all my other studio heads works directly with the Siros. So I can pop that right in there. The Siros is lightweight enough where it's not putting too much pressure on the yoke, so I can completely use a monoblock with inside of my Parrot. This is also great for me because when I go on location and I'm shooting food, the Parrot is always my main light. I can take this entire unit on location and it's nice and easy. So again, my background. So my second light is another Broncolor Siros 800 up above. This is mounted on a mini boom and it's got a beauty dish on it with a little bit of diffusion and then a polarizing gel on top of that. That allows me to control the highlights with the polarizer on my camera. One of the things that's kind of cool about this, normally you wouldn't float a monoblock up on a boom because it's impossible to reach. How are you going to make those adjustments? And you don't want to change the height of your light because that changes the exposure. So with the Broncolor app, I can easily adjust this and I can tell which monoblock is which by looking at the color. It's really easy for me to discern. My third light is kind of hard for you to see, but it's back around the other side. Because the label on this bottle is actually pewter, it's a piece of metal foil, and it's curved, it's reflecting everything around me. So I've had to put a couple of pieces of diffusion out here in order to give me some shape and give me a place to reflect light into. So that far light is a strip bank and it's just skimming across. It's kind of pointed at my set, but more towards the camera. So it's raking across those 2 sheets of diffusion in order to give me a good shape of light. I do have a hole cut in this main piece of diffusion. That's so I can get my camera lens in it and then block everything around it. Now to that, I'm going to add a 4th light, which is another Siros 800 in back. Now you'll notice I have another piece of Rosco diffusion rolled out, and that's Rosco 3010. That's giving me kind of double diffusion. It's diffused here, and then again as it hits the camera diffusion, coming onto the label. One of the things you'll also notice is it's dead center with my camera. Remember, lights are spectral, and I've got that thing on just a teeny tiny reflector. I'm hiding that highlight right behind the body of my Hasselblad H4D. So the spectral source is right behind there. It's coming and it's diffusing on source number 1, then diffusing on source number 2 as it comes around and gives me shape on that label. And that's something I can really control. You can see that going on here. This is my main highlight coming from my strip bank. This highlight is coming from that 4th light that's in back, directly behind the camera. You are seeing the camera lens here, and we're going to have to smooth that out a little bit in post. And then the last thing we're going to have to do is add another card, which is going to obstruct the cameras. But we're going to add a card to get some light to fill in here, because right now it's completely going black. And I'm just going to play with this a little. A couple other things to notice. The background is feeling a little bit hot. The white is nice, but it's blowing out, and I'm not getting the fluting in the background I need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 4/10 out of that. And I also think that my main light source is just a tiny bit hot. I'm going to take 2/10 out of that, just because I want this highlight right here to narrow up a bit. Okay, that's nice. If you see that, I narrowed up that highlight just a little bit by taking 2/10 of a stop out. It just ever so diminished, which kind of brought it in a little bit. And also taking that half stop out of the background, that gave me what I needed. You can see the difference here. It's really kind of bright, and I'm losing the fluting. And then when I click down 1, where I took out that half stop, I'm just getting that fluting back. So this is pretty nice. I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to really finesse this bottle. I'm going to bring more light onto the rest of this label. I'm going to fine tune a couple of the edges a little bit, and then I'm actually going to shoot a bottle that has water in it. This bottle has no water in it, or no liquid in it, and it's got a bunch of wording on the backside I don't want. So I actually have a blank bottle, no wording, no labels, nothing. I'll go ahead and I'll shoot that next. I'll really fine tune that as well, and then I'm going to take the labels, both the main body label here, the neck label up above, and the cap, and I'm going to transpose it onto that other shot. So that's what we're going to do. And then the next thing I'm going to show you is how easy this stuff is to pack up and take on location. We're going to grab probably the Parrot 88, a couple rolls of diffusion, just a couple of monoblocks, and we're going to go do a food shot out on location. You'll see how easy it is to do that.